We have to have our hands dirty by writing code ourselves. Bring out your VS Code and just simply go to main.dart. Now, what you have to do is you have to simply go and remove all the code except the main function. Here, like this, we just remove all the code, and in the main.dart file, which is the entry point, you have to simply write material app, material app, and then title my first, and then home. That's it. So we have imported material package at the very top because we will be using the material design which is developed by Google, Android's material design. For iOS, you can also use Cupertino package, but it only works on Mac system, or you will say you will need a iOS device to make it look good. But most of the time you will be using the material design and just use a few iOS buttons or elements as well if you want in the future. And also you can see we are implementing material design, that's why we are using material app here. And material app is a widget. As I said, it is the name and then parenthesis which accepts two properties, that is first is title and second is home. Title is name of your application which is shown in the text bar, that is when you go out of your application or when your application is in the background. But and this home is the main layout which will be visible to the user. So okay, we have our first Flutter application. You have understood till now, that is the main function is the entry point. After that, you might be asking me, what is that run app? Run app is the default, what you will say, it is the default way of Flutter of running our application. So you just have to remember it because it's predefined. We cannot do or we cannot change it, but we can know more about widgets, which is the core concept. So first of all, we will be talking about the text widget. In any application, definitely you have to put out something for the user to read. Either it's his or her username or what, or any simple basic data. For that also, you have to first know what widget to use in order to print on the screen. Earlier, we used to just write print in the Dart code because at that time we were just printing in the debug console, which was nothing. It was just for the developers' convenience. But now we will be writing something which will be shown to the user, that is in the application. So text is the widget, as I told you, name and then parenthesis. And in this, it's accept first thing as a string, which is a positional argument. You have to remember the Dart concepts by heart in order to make sure you don't get confused or ask what is this, why this parameter is sent like this and not in as a named argument. I will get back to the named argument as well, but now you simply just have to save, then bring out your emulator and then run your application. And also you can see in the test file, because we have removed the codes, you if you want you can just remove this widget test for now because we don't need it. Now again, just run your application. You have to, it may take a while. In the last session also we have understood how to import assets. That's why we had cancelled the debugging session that time. If we do any code changes in the app, we must stop debugging and then restart it so that the app knows what changes it's been done. I just want you guys to get familiar or get used to this widget concept of writing, that is first name, then parenthesis, then inside the parenthesis either it will be a name parameter like this title or name, or a positional parameter like this in text field. Again, it will take a little bit while, you have to wait. It's taking a bit longer time, but yeah, it's done. It's at least our debug APK is being built. It's a very time consuming process, but for any good thing to happen, we have to wait. Just ignore whatever it's displayed in the debug console. We don't have to worry about that. But see, the output will be here, and tada! We have a very ugly looking first Flutter application. But just see, we have successfully outputted the text on the app screen. So that means if you have published this application in Play Store, all the users will whenever they open this application, they will see this text of my first Flutter application. Now you might be thinking, this is looking very ugly. The text is stick to the top, and that is why to make it beautiful, we will be using our next widget, that is scaffold widget. So what is a scaffold widget? To change the color of the whole application or use app bar buttons or anything like bottom sheet or anything, we use this scaffold widget. It gives a good look to your application. It has all the necessary elements. Now we will just go to our code. Simply inside the home, you will remove and write scaffold. This is also a widget which will accept. And now to know what properties it accepts, you can just write control and space and see here. It first matlab, these are all the properties that it accepts. First you can choose app bar. This app bar will again accept an app bar widget. Now inside the app bar widget, again click type control plus space. There will be lot of properties. The one we need is title. Then this title will accept text. You can just flutter rocks, allow restart, whatever you want, just control S. And now see the change. See, it's looking very beautiful than before, just because we have used the scaffold widget. That here, whatever you are seeing, that is this app bar or this white thing, is inside because of the scaffold widget. Now this white portion is the body where you will output whatever thing you want to show to the user. In the scaffold, first property is app bar, then you will just go in after this comma, control and space, and write body. In the body you will have another text which will write my first Flutter application, and again control S. So you might be thinking nothing is being shown, and that the reason is because the color of the text and the color of the background is same. To now to change the background color, I will just go to scaffold. I will write background color. You don't have to understand what I am doing right now. Background dot red, suppose. See, if I restarted the application, it's showing my first Flutter application, because earlier it was in the white color. In the upcoming videos, we will understand how to change colors like this. I did it now just to show you the output of the body. So this red thing is the body of your application. You just have to remember till here that app bar and body are the property of scaffold widget. App bar has title as its property, which accepts text widget for now. Because title you can have any widget, which we will discuss one by one. If you want to see another property of app bar, you can just go below title and write center title and then true. This is a property which itself says it will center the title. This app title will go to the center of your application. So I hope you have enjoyed learning till now, because you are capable of building a basic Flutter application. At least you have something on the screen right now, which is very cool. So we will continue exploring other widgets as well. Till now, we have a very basic looking application. It's not an application, it's just a UI with some text in it. The next widget, which we will be talking about, is the center widget. It's a very simple and does what its name says. It centers down any widget. So if we want to center the text in the body, then we can wrap the text widget inside a center widget. So you can see this my Flutter application is in the very top left side, and if you want it to the center of the body, that is center of the screen, we just have to wrap it. And what do you think, what do you mean by wrap? If you go, you can just simply see this material thing inside, then it's scaffold. This app bar is wrapped under scaffold. This text is wrapped inside app bar. Now, if I want to use a center widget, you can just go one step of doing is just copy or cut it here. Then, sorry, center widget, this is the widget. Then we go inside, we have a child property, and we just simply paste it. So this is wrapped by another widget, which is center. Let's check out our app. See, we have the text within the center of the screen. Just remember, I told you this was the first way, and the second way, so I will just undo it. Second way is just simply go click on this bulb thing, so fixes, and here you can write wrap with a widget and just simply write center. This is also another way to do the same thing, because when we have a bigger application, it's impossible that we just cut and paste all the time, because there are a lot of commas, there are a lot of brackets involved in our application. Now also remember, we cannot just directly print string inside the center, like we'll just cut it and see, you cannot just directly write string here like this. No, you have to use child property. Inside that child, you have, and you have to use another widget, which is a text widget. Right now we are using, but since child is a data type of widget, you can see here, if I hover over it, that means it will accept any widget. Till now we haven't learned about other widgets, that's why I'm just using the basic text widget. So I hope you have understood the center widget. It's a very basic widget. Now the next widget we will be talking about is floating action button. So I'm assuming you already know WhatsApp application. In your WhatsApp application, in the bottom right side, you will see an icon, an a button. That is the floating action button. So we can implement the floating action button by the property by the same name, that is floating action button, to scaffold widget. What I mean by that, you have your scaffold widget here. First property, we just gave it background color for, as we have to make it red. Second property was app bar. Third property was body. Now we have this comma. And if I go and control S, see, there are so many other properties it accept, but we will be using the floating action button. So the floating action button accepts the widget name floating action button like this. You can see it now has floating action button, and it has two properties which is mandatory. First is child and the second is on pressed. So child, we will just have a simple text of add. I will just restart or save our application so that the changes will be shown in the UI. In the right hand side here, you can see this add button. So this is a floating action button. Right now, when we click on it, it does nothing. If you want to see, you can just go on pressed and just write print hello and save it. Now, if I go and click on our add button in the debug, you can see there is this hello printing out. But the main thing is you have to understand that this is the way of writing code of a Flutter application. There are properties, there are widgets. Within widgets, again, there are properties. That property will again accept some widget. And then this onPressed is again the property of floating action button. You have to remember where it starts, where it ends, which property is of which widget. And if you're still getting confused, I would just like to tell you that assume this is a function. We are calling a function a floating action button and then sending two arguments, named arguments. That's it. First one accepts a widget and the second one accepts a function. That's it. Again, for every widget, the first letter is always capital. You can see this F, this T, this C center, this scaffold S. So every widget has capital letter of first word. And every property is accepting another widget as its value. So this is a property child, it accepts text, and all the properties have a starts with a small letter, say B, A, Appbar A, floating action button, this one F, which is the property, this F is small letter. And in most of the widget, the child property will be common. Here you can see child, this is also child. So the child property will be common in many of the widgets. If you are still getting confused, I will just ask you to pause for some time and just try to do it on your own and do some mistakes so that you will understand it properly. But I hope this video has cleared and given you the information of two more widgets. First one is the center widget and second one is the floating action button widget. We will be learning how to change color and give styling to our elements. Now to change color of any element such as the app bar, we have certain properties such as in an app bar, there is a property called background color. Now, usually when we were dealing with other properties, we had the value of string or integer or a widget. But now the case is little different. The value of a color is written by using the keyword colors dot and followed by the name of the color. Now let's do it practically. We will now change the color of our app bar. We'll go and now see other properties here, and one of them is background color. I will just write colors dot amber. It's one of the colors. Now check our application. This blue, does it changes? Yes, it changed. Now it's in yellow color, yellowish color you can say, because it's a different shade definitely. So I hope you have understood that giving colors is very easy. This colors dot, and if that widget has a property that is here, it's background color, in other elements there may be different. Now to change the color of the floating action button, again we have to go and check if there is any property. Now here you can see there is a property called background color, and we will just write colors dot. Earlier the color was blue, I will just make it green. Let's see, does it work? I hope yes, it has changed. So obviously when you are building a real world application, you will have different color combinations for your app. So it's necessary to understand that which color to use and how to implement the color code. Now the next thing what we will doing is how to style the text element. So to change the color or give styling to a text, we have to give a property of style to the text widget. So now again you can just read, there is a property called style. Let's go to the text element. This first one is a positional argument that is at 0. Next one, let's see here. There is style, text align, text direction. I will be using style property. Now, as I mentioned, a text widget also accept different arguments, but just remember the first property is positional where we mention the actual text, and other properties are name arguments, such as one of them is style. Now, style property will accept another widget as its value, which is the style text style widget. So here we just have to write text style, and inside that we can mention the changes or whatever properties we want, such as first I would like to change the colors dot blue, let's say. Let's see here, does it change? Yes. Also I would like to remove this red color background, it's not looking nice. So it's done. Okay. Now the next property we will be using is font size. Now let's change our font size to 30. Sorry, font size, it should be font size. Yes, it accepts an integer, or you can say double value. So see, the font size has changed. Next property we will use is the font style, and there will be font style dot italic and normal. So what is this italic? I hope you know that it will just give a tilted position here. See this, and another styling we used is font weight, which is font weight dot bold. It will just have a bolder look to it. See, so this is how we do styling to our text element. Just remember there are other properties as well. Here you can just check its background color, decoration, font family, height, letter spacing, word spacing, shadows. So if you want, you can use all of those, but it's very use specific if you want to use it or not. But usually in most of the application, you will be using color, font size, and font weight also. If you want to make sure that text is highlighted, you can say. So I hope you have understood the concept of changing color and styling, because we will be discussing what are stateless widget. So until now we were writing code in our main function only. But this is not the case when we build a real application. There we definitely have to separate our code into smaller pieces and use them wherever required. We can create our own widget which will contain all the other widgets in it. The types of custom build widget are stateless and stateful widget. Right now, you just have to focus on stateless widget. Definitely, we will be covering the other widget in the later videos. So here you can see we can create a stateless widget by extending our class to stateless widget and have a bare minimum implementation like this. So this is a very basic code of a stateless widget. Let's go. In the main file, let's have a new file called home.dart. So now here you can just simply first what you have to do is have to import a material package. Then you can have class home screen which extends stateless widget. See, okay. So here it's done. Now simply you have to go and click this bulb. You can say there is one missing override. If you click on it, it will give you this thing. So here you just have to return something. I will just return this scaffold here. So see our first screen, that is home screen written, which is a stateless widget. So you might be asking me, okay, but what is this stateless widget exactly means? So just simply remember that data within a stateless widget cannot be changed after it's being rendered. Suppose we want that after a button is clicked, the color of the text should be changed. This is not possible in stateless widget because the color, that is the green, is rendered. That is when we open our application, it's being rendered there. So in a stateless widget, it's not possible to change the color or later on. It's like within a click, or if user do some hover or whatever. If the user interacts with it, then for those kind of thing you must have a stateful widget, but you will understand the difference between both of them slowly. Now here any name, that is this is a stateless widget. There is a name of the widget and it has to override the function called build, which returns a widget as a return type. This widget means this can be scaffold, this can be container, this can be button, this can be icon. So it's not like stateless widget is always a complete screen. It can also be separate chunk of codes as well. No need to take this much stress at present. You just have to go with the flow. So now let's see implements. Let's implement the stateless widget now, this concept. So what you have to do is simply go to this and cut this scaffold and paste it here. Now within this home screen you just have to write home screen, and in the top you have to import that screen by like this. Now if I restart again, you will see nothing has changed, but we have our home screen on a separate file which is a stateless widget. And what I mean by stateless, I would like to explain it again. That is, this color of the text, that is blue, won't be changed if I try to click on it on this ad. So simply this is the meaning of a stateless widget. Now if I want to change the color of this amber, what again, green, let's say blue. See, this is blue now. And if you see, now control s hot reload is working perfectly. Earlier it was not, because we wrote everything in the main.dat file, like not like this widget. But now when we press on control s, this build function is being rendered again, is called and being rendered again. My first Flutter project I will write and just write control s. See, it's working perfectly. So now that is why hot reload will work now. Earlier you might be thinking why it's not working, just because we haven't separate it in stateless or stateful widget, because at that time only the build function will be recalled and the changes will be done. So I hope you have understood the concept of stateless widget and were able to separate your code from one file to multiple files. More about this we will definitely learn when we will be building some basic projects, but right now this much knowledge is enough. How to display an image in our application. So until now, we were just displaying text, but the real application will definitely contains images. So now there are two types of images mostly. That is, one is network image and the other is asset image. Now network image, when we say network image, it means the image will come from the internet. That is, we are not hosting that image or we are not storing that image in our Flutter code. So we must have an URL of that image in order to show it. First of all, bring out your browser and just write Google's any image you want. I will just Flutter logo. Then I have so many images. I will just choose this image and write copy image address. Now here you can see this network image syntax is image.network. Then inside that we have to paste the URL. Let's go. Now in the center I will remove this text and write image.network and just simply paste it here like this. Let's see, are we able to show the image or it's showing? Yes, see, this is the first time we are using an actual image in our application and it was so much easy. Right now we removed that earlier text widget because we cannot pass two widgets directly inside a child. This issue definitely will be solved in the later videos where we will discuss about the widget which we can use to display multiple widgets in our application. Now there are some properties as well, such as here you can see height. So height we can give, if I reduce the height, image will be very little, very small. If I change it, say like this. So this is how we work with network images. Now the other thing is an asset image. To insert an image which is already present in your system. So usually what we do is make a folder images in root directory like this. Here we have made assets. Inside that we made images directory before, because it's very clean folder structure to make. Now we paste a file inside that like this. I have this image6.png file. Next step is to go to pubspec.yaml and uncomment the assets section which we have already done like this. See, this assets section we have uncommented it. Make sure of indentation or else it will show error, which means this file is very sensitive. So you have to make sure you don't give any extra space or tabs in it. You just have to write like this assets. Now it will know that inside our assets images there will be all the files. Also you can write your image directory location with or without the image name. That is, if we don't mention the image name like this also, then also it's correct because it will upload all the images in it. Now inserting, how to insert an asset image. Earlier for network image we simply did image.network. Now we will do image.asset. Image.asset like this. Then we will just write assets, then images, then what is the name of the file? Image6.png, 6.png. And now let's see, does it work? See, we have our asset file uploaded. That is, our Flutter application would know which file we are talking about. And this is not coming from the internet. Now we can change some properties as like height, we can give 100, say like this. Width also we can change. These are the other properties which you can change, but right now we don't want to. Usually height is okay with suppose 150 as well, it's looking good. So it's very important to understand the difference between asset and network image, because in your real world application you will be playing with images all the time. All application have some kind of image is in them. Either it's an asset image like the app's logo, because it won't change easily, so we can just send it to them via in our code, and there will be something like a user's profile image. It will be coming from the database because the user will change it, may change it frequently. That's the difference. Now it's time to learn about the other widgets, such as the icon widget. Flutter comes loaded with tons of icons which can be used to make our app more beautiful. If you see any application, whether it's with Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, there you will definitely see some kind of icons, because it is very pleasant to the eye. People can directly relate to that icon. Now, syntax is very simple. First, we have to write icon, and inside that, we cannot just directly write the name of the icon. We have to write like icons dot any icon name. Suppose icons dot user, icons dot alarm, whatever. Let's try it. I will remove the child of the image now. I will just add icon, and then icons dot access alarm. Now I will just simply save it, and see, our icon is displayed on the screen, and it's so much easy. Now, like any other widget we use, definitely we can change its color and few properties as well. Now to change the color, which we will just write comma and then see color. I will write colors dot orange, and then size I will write 200. Now you see it's so much bigger. The size I have given 200 just to show you that we can change its properties um, of the icon. And thing is, it's not that we can use icon only in the body. Now if I want, in the floating action button, I can just write icon and then icons dot message in the floating action button. See, so now you can just compare it with a WhatsApp. The WhatsApp app has also this kind of icon in the bottom, and it's looking very good, I have to say. After the icon button, there is another widget which is the button widget. So without a button, any application is useless, because buttons are there only to give a feedback or take a feedback from the user. That it's, if it's a shopping cart, then it's add to cart. If it's any form, then you have to submit the form. If or any other, if add to cart, if you have any other thing in your if you have used any application, you might have encountered a lot of buttons. So in Flutter, there are three types of button: text button, elevated button, and icon button. Let's understand it one by one. So what is a text button? So in this text button, there will be no elevation or 3D effect. Like this. If I just remove the icon here and write text button, first property is mandatory, is the child, that is what should be inside that button. I will just simply write click me. And the second mandatory is on presence. What should happen when a user clicks on this button? So see, this is a text button. There is no background color or elevation, or it's a simple text. That is why its name is this. Now, if you really want to change or style the button, you can do it, but I don't think it's that much necessary, because if you want those style, there is the other buttons such as elevated button and all. But I will just show you how to change the style as well. If you see, there will be style property, and it will accept, if it's a text button, it will accept text button dot style from, and inside that you can just simply write primary, that is the color of the background. I will just orange. See, the color is changed. Then if you want, you can give some padding, edge insets dot all. I will just write simply 10. For the padding, definitely it is not showing right now. We can write background color, background dot black, if you really want this color, because usually what happens, if you really want this kind of button, you will directly go to raise button, because it gives you these features automatically. But it's fine. Then any other important thing? I don't think so it's that much important. No. So this is how you display a text button, and if you really want, you can style it as using text button dot style from, and then give different properties. Now just remember, if I remove this styling, this is a basic text button. But what happens if I use an elevated button? If I just simply, the syntax is the same, if I just simply write elevated button here, then you see background color is there, text color is white, and some elevation is being given, that is some 3D effect is given. So this is why we use elevated button, because it's very handy to use. Now again, if you want, you can style it, like here we have to write elevated button dot style from, and primary will be the background color. That means this one. In text button, primary was the text color, but here it's the background color. Now if you want elevation, you can just give it 5. You can see some more 3D effect is there. If you want to change padding, you can change edge insets dot all 20. See, this is padding is also done. Now if you want to change shape, you can also do that using rounded rectangular border, and then border radius, border dot net border radius, and you can use radius dot circular, as I want from all the sides circular, radius dot circular, and give 10 here. See, if I give 20, you will notice more, this shape is being changed by this, because of the radius we have given it. And here styling you have understood, and this on press is simply what should happen when a user pressed on a button. So right now I'm just printing, but usually you do some kind of activity here, see, like this. So until now we have discussed text button and elevated button. The final type of button is the icon button. So simply what it does is, it's a kind of icon which we can press and do something. I will just remove the previous code and simply write icon button. On press will be there in all the buttons, and in icon I have already taught you how to display any icon. So I will write this icon here. Check out. Now this is an icon, but you can click it. See, you can click it here. Now we can discover or check what other properties it accepts, like colors dot blue accent. Then icon size you can give 100. See, it's looking so good. And if there anything else, splash color, you might be thinking what is the splash color. Let's see, if I click on it, this is the splash color. And similarly it has on press, which I will simply print icon button. See, in the debug you can say icon button. So we have successfully covered all the three buttons, that is a text button, elevated button and the icon button, and also how to use icons in our Flutter application. In this icon button, just remember child property is not there. Here icon property is there, which accepts an icon. And in all the buttons, that on press is mandatory. So you have to mention what should happen if someone clicks on it, because since it's a button, you have to know what should happen after that. We will be talking about container widget. So what is a container? A container just wrap around another widget. So if you are familiar with the concept of div in web development, then it works same as that. We use this widget so that we can give margin, padding, alignment, width, and lot of other properties to the element or to the widget inside it. So just think of it as a wrapper which will be used to manipulate the other widgets. So what is the syntax? Its syntax is very simple, like this. Container is the widget name and child means what should be inside that container. So okay, let's start it. I would just remove this previous code and have a container widget here. In the child, I will have a text widget first of all. So it will be like this or not this. It's like Flutter is awesome. Let's save it. Let's see here. So you can see that text is there, but there's nothing like, you won't even notice that it's been wrapped inside a container widget. So what we have to do, if you want to see the container, the first property you can use is the color property. The colors dot red. You have already know how to use color and all. See, so now you can see what is this red thing is the container. You can say as a box as well right now. So this is the container and it has different properties. First property, first two we use is child and color. Now let's see what is padding and margin. Okay, so padding and margin are used to give spacing between the elements. So what is a padding? Padding is the space inside, which means you can see this awesome E and the box end, that is here red thing. The inside thing is padding and the red thing and the blue, that is the outside thing is margin. To see it with the example, I will just give a padding property and it accepts a value as edge insets. Then after insert, if you click dot, then you will have other the option, that's all from left, right, sorry, left, top, right, bottom, only, symmetric. For simplicity, I will be using all, that is from all the side. I will give it 20. Now you see from the inside, that is this and this is the padding and it's looking comparatively nicer than before. So this is the padding thing, and what I was saying is the next property, which is margin. And margin is the spacing outside, that is whether it's here or the top and the left here. So if I go to margin, And again, margin also accepts value as edge inserts. And from all the side, I will give 20. So you will now know the difference. See, from the outside here, you get this margin thing. You can also read here, margin is space outside and padding is space inside. Other properties are also there, such as width. If I click width and give it a value of suppose 80, then see, it shrinked. If I give 180, it's like this. If I get 280, it will go further. So this is the container's width, and if I don't give any width, it will take whatever is inside it, that is a text, and that width only. Now there is another property that is inside a container, which is alignment, and it accepts a value as alignment dot sub top left, not top left, I will write top right. See, now I have to give a width of 250 and a height of 50. 50, I guess it's less. I have to give 80. The alignment thing right now is, the thing is, there is no other element, there is only this element is here. So that is why the alignment is not working, because the height or the position is this side, is this much area only. If I just remove the thing, see, now it takes the whole screen. That is the thing, that we have to first assign height and weight of the container of or whatever it's wrapping inside. Then only the this alignment will work. In the upcoming videos, when we will be building some more nicer application, then I will teach you this alignment and when to use the alignment code. Because right now you might be thinking, no, this is not working, why it's not working, we might have too many questions. Another property is decoration of the container widget, which accepts box decoration as its value. Now inside box decoration, you can give a shape as well, box shape dot circle. In the inside box decoration, see, when you are using box decoration, the thing is, this also have a property of color, so you cannot give multiple colors. In that case, you have to give mention the color property inside box decoration. Now I will again give padding so that the circle looks little bit nicer, or it's inside it. Now within box decoration, there is color, border, border radius, box shadow. So these properties can also you can use to decorate your container, which is very specific to your need. So if you need it, you can just try it on your own as well. Text field widget. So a text field lets the user enter text either with hardware keyboard or with an on-screen keyboard. So it basically allows us to collect information from the user. If you have used any mobile application, you know that text field is the backbone of that application. Now, what's the syntax? It's very basic syntax of text text field, then as usual our parenthesis. Let's try it. In the body, I will remove the previous container and have it text with text field. here. If I save it, then you will say this line, and if I click on it, we have our keyboard. I can write whatever I want. But the thing is, this text field doesn't look or say anything to the user. The user won't even know what to write in it. For that, we have to use some other properties inside it, which are like decoration. Decoration, and it accepts input decoration as its value. Inside that, here you will see a lot of options. I will use hint or label text first. Now, if you hover over it, it accepts directly string, not a widget. So we can just say write name like this, and you can see now it's looking little bit better because when we click on it, we know what we have to write in it. Now there are, apart from label text, there are a lot of other like border, counter, enable, it is if this field should be disabled for that moment or not. Hint text is just like enter full name please, and if I save, now in the text field you can see this hint, that is we have to write our full name. So at least we can give some dummy data or some hint to the user on what he has to write. Now other thing you can have is a prefix icon. So icons give some visual, you can say visually it appears good when we are using an icon. See, now this text wheel is looking comparatively better with this small icon only. Something more like border, which we can get outline, input border. Now you are not able to see it properly. I will do what? I will just wrap it around the container which we already just learned, and give a margin of edge insets dot all 20. See, this border is looking so good. It's so looking nicer. And if I give input border dot none, then the whole border is, but I usually like this outline input border. Now you might be thinking only this much properties or there are more. So there are a lot of properties which we will definitely discuss properly, because without a text field we won't be able to build any application. Max length simply tells us that the name should have only 10 characters in it, not more than that. It can be used when we are using a password or any phone number. It should be have a specific number of digits in it, not more than that. And now, right now, we will just see the on change property. There are a lot that is on submit and all, but on change means it's a function which gives us a value whatever it's written in the text field. We will print that value in our debug console. Now we just have f flutter. See, now with this value, if you want, we can assign it to a variable and then use that variable anywhere we want. It's up to us what we want to do, but definitely text field has an important role. We will be talking about two widgets. The first widget is the column widget. So if you have noticed till now, we were just outputting one widget at a time. But this is not happening in real application. A screen contains multiple widgets like image, text, button all together. So for that purpose, a column widget is used because it helps to output widgets in vertical direction, that is top to bottom. That is why its name is column. Syntax is very simple. We have to just write column name, that is the widget name is column. But here one thing is changed now, because earlier with every widget we were using child property, but here it's children, and simply because we will be outputting multiple widgets, that's why it is in plural form. So yeah, bring out your text editor, and I will just in the body I will just remove the previous code and write column. Then here it will be children. Within children you just can write from top to bottom what elements you want to print. I will just at first hi, I am learning Flutter. Then next widget you can use elevated button. In the child we can have text of submit. Let's save and see. See, for the first time we were able to print out two widgets at the same time in this body. So this is the use of column widget. If you want, after the elevated button you can use image dot asset, then assets images image 6 dot png. Here we have this image here. See, now we have three elements on the screen. First is a text widget, second is an elevated button, and the third is the image. So now here you can see in the notes section, children is being used instead of a child. All the elements are separated by a comma because it's a list of widgets. That is why. And each widget is the order of the widget is will be the same how you write it here. Now this image is being printed out from top to bottom. There is another widget which helps you print out object from left to right. So row also is same like column. It helps to output multiple widgets, but a row helps to output widgets in horizontal direction. I will just first change the height and weight. It's too big. Weight will be 100. See, it's looking decent now. The syntax is same. I will just change this row, so this column to row and save. Now this horizontal thing becomes vertical. So this is a very important element, because when you are building a complete UI, there in every screen you will be using either a row or a column or a combination of both. Row has another property which is main axis alignments. That is how the elements should be displayed on the screen. So if we write space evenly, see, from left everywhere all the spacing is equal. If I write space between, then see this the extreme left and extreme side spacing is not there, and there is also center. Everything will come together in the center. So the interesting fact is, in row and column both have this main axis and cross axis thing. The only difference is you have to remember when it's a row, the main axis is left to right and cross axis will be from top to bottom. That is, if I write cross axis alignment dot center, I don't think so it will right now work because the element is already in the center, because this is taking only this much space, not the whole screen. That is why it hasn't been sent to the center. But cross axis for a row means from top to bottom and main axis is left to right. And similarly in a column, the main axis is top to bottom and the cross axis is left to right. So you have to just practice on your own and try to understand what I just said, because the concept is very simple. Column and row, we are just using it to output multiple elements in a certain direction, and we can also use a column inside a row and a row inside a column, and with that, with the help of those only, you will be able to build a complete UI. We will be talking about what are list style and what is a list view widget. So a list style is a single row that typically contains some text as well as leading or trailing icon. So from the image only you can understand that how what is a list style and how it looks. It's somewhat similar to the UI of an WhatsApp. I hope you all of you have a WhatsApp account and are very familiar to that. So what is the syntax? It's simply it's list style, then these are the properties which it accepts. Let's try it on our own first. I will just have a list style at first. Then in the title, I will have text of Elon Musk. Let's save. See. So it's what? It's a row, kind of a horizontal thing. Then the other element, which other property I will be using is subtitle. Going to the moon. Subtitle is just written, has a smaller font, and its default color is somewhere grayish. Then another property is leading, that is what should be at the front. I will be using an icon here, and it will be icons dot account circle. I will just give it a color of colors dot blue and size of 40. Let's try it out. See, this is what I was saying. This is the leading icon. And now another property, yeah, a lot of properties, but one more important is trailing. That is what should be at the end. I will have an elevated button, suppose, and it will just have a text of what should be the text. It's not a good idea to use a button like this in the trailing. I will just have an icon button if I want to. Then in the icon, I will have icons dot delete. See, we have an icon here. The trailing means the end of the horizontal thing. The leading means the front element. And the last important property is the on tap. That is what should happen if the user clicks on this tile. So in the console you just see I will click here and see Elon Musk. I'm not talking about this button. We have, if we want to do something here, we have to do write it in this on press. But this whole tile thing is printing out this Elon Musk. Say I have clicked it 5 times. That's why it's here like this. This list tile is also a very interesting UI widget because it's a bundle of all the things which we may need in our application. Now we already know what is a column widget, so I will just wrap it around a column. See, nothing will change. Now what I will do is I want to talk about the next element, which is list view. But before going to that, I would like to show you the issue with the column. If I have this list tile this many times more, if if I paste is more 2 times, see, some error is there at the bottom, that is the bottom is overflowed. The in If we directly write column here like this, it will show error and it is not scrollable. So here comes our next widget, which is list view. List view is like a column, that is it prints the thing, all the widgets from in the vertical way, that is top to bottom, but it is a scrollable thing too. If I write list view here and save it, the error is gone. See, we are able to scroll through our elements or the widgets. So list view is again is same as column, only the main difference is that it is scrollable, and remember it prints the widgets in the vertical direction by default. If you want to change, you can just change it here in the scroll direction, and axis dot you can give it vertical as well, but or horizontal, sorry, horizontal as well. But the thing is, then the element should be different because vertically you cannot print list style. Also, you might be thinking, what should we do if we don't want to use the list view widget but still want to remove this error? Because obviously all the application, all the pages of the screen will have so many elements in that screen. In that case, you can just wrap the topmost element, that is this is the topmost element of the body. You can just wrap it with a widget, and that widget name is single child scroll view. You just remember this name because it's a game changer. This will help you to make the column widget scrollable. See, the error is gone, and right now this column is now scrolling without any error at the bottom. If you want, you can Google these terms: what are single child scroll view, what are list view, what are column, if you want to go more in depth. But I have given you the basic information or the basic concept of how and when we should use these kind of widgets. I hope you have enjoyed with this module, because here you are now ready to go into more in-depth things in the upcoming modules, and at the end of this course you will become a complete Flutter application developer.